Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going. Today we have predictions for 4 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Miami Heat and New York Knicks. All right, we've got the Knicks hosting the Heat at the Garden and unexpected New York to handle business here. These two teams have had a long history, and the Knicks have dominated recently, winning 6 of the last 10 matchups. Even better for them, they've taken 4 of the last 5 in MSG and already beat Miami twice this season, including a tight 116-112 win just a couple of weeks ago. Now, the Knicks have put together a squad that can definitely compete in the East, but if there's one thing holding them back, it's the lack of depth off the bench. Their starters are solid, no doubt. Guys like Karl-Anthony Towns and Josh Hart can go toe-to-toe with the best of them, but the bench hasn't been able to keep the same energy. Mitchell Robinson has been recovering from injury and is working his way back into form, but now they're dealing with the loss of Jalen Brunson for a few weeks. It's a big blow, but Miles McBride has been stepping up, and even though he's no Brunson, he's holding it down. That said, I still feel the Knicks have enough firepower to get it done, especially against a Heat squad that's been all over the place this season. Speaking of the Heat, it's been rough for them. At 29-38, they're hanging on to the 9th spot in the East, but they're clearly not in a good place. They've lost 7 straight, and it's tough to see how they turned it around with the way they've been playing. Yeah, they had a nice stretch after the All-Star break, but that feels like a distant memory now. The Heat just can't seem to close games, especially in the fourth quarter. There's a pattern of them blowing leads, and it's been painful to watch. When Taylor Herro is on the floor, they're a completely different team, but without him, they're struggling to find consistency. Tyler Herro, who was supposed to be the guy after Butler's departure, hasn't exactly stepped up to the plate. He had a rough game against the Grizzlies, scoring just 8 points on 3 of 12 shooting. That's not going to get it done, especially when Bam Adebayo and others are trying to pick up the slack. They'll need both Harrell and Adebayo to go off in this game, but even that might not be enough. The Knicks may be missing Brunson, but they still have the tools to make it work. Towns has been an absolute monster this season, putting up 24 points and 13 rebounds a night, and he'll be critical in the paint on both ends. He's been a force, and if he can outplay Adebayo, that'll give the Knicks a huge advantage. Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby need to keep playing at a high level too, guys like that can turn the tide in a game like this. Anunoby has shown he can drop big numbers when needed, and the Knicks are going to need that kind of production to take care of Miami. Josh Hart has been a bit inconsistent, but he needs to show up big in this one, especially in Brunson's absence. As for the Heat, I just don't see them getting it together in this one. They've been shaky all season and are having trouble executing on offense. Defensively, they've been solid at times, but the fourth quarter collapses have been the killer. I know the Heat have the potential to make things interesting with their star power, that right now, the Knicks are simply the more complete team. They've been playing solid ball even without Brunson, and I trust their overall roster to get it done. So, when I look at this matchup, I can't help but think the Knicks are in the driver's seat. They've been playing strong even with some key injuries, and their talent just outweighs what Miami is bringing to the table right now. The Heat might make a run at it, but I don't see them overcoming the Knicks' depth and overall execution. I'm confident that New York will win this one and cover the 6.5-point spread.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the Indiana Pacers and Minnesota Timberwolves. Looking at this matchup, I think the Pacers are in a solid spot, but have some real challenges ahead. They're currently sitting comfortably in the 5th spot in the East, but after dropping a tough one to the Bucks, they're definitely not playing their best basketball right now. With a 5-5 record over their last 10 games, they've been a bit inconsistent, which is worrying as they head into the final stretch. Tyrese Halliburton is still doing his thing, leading the team in assists and making plays every game, but losing Pascal Siakam for personal reasons hurts their depth. On top of that, Halliburton, Aaron Nesmith, and Miles Turner are all dealing with injuries, and that's something you just can't ignore, especially against a team like Minnesota that's rolling. Speaking of the Timberwolves, they've been absolutely on fire lately. They've won 8 straight games, and Anthony Edwards has been a straight-up bucket. The guy's averaging over 27 points per game and is shooting the lights out from 3. His 41-point explosion in their last win against Utah just shows how locked in he is right now. They've definitely turned things around after a rough start to the second half of the season, and with the Timberwolves looking dangerous, they'll be hoping to carry this momentum all the way into the playoffs. However, they are on the back end of a back-to-back, which could be a factor here, especially against a Pacers team that loves to run. Now, it's kind of interesting because these two teams don't play each other often, but when they do, the Timberwolves have had the Pacers' number. Minnesota has won the last 6 meetings, so they're definitely in the driver's seat when it comes to history between these two. But we all know basketball is about the present, and this game is shaping up to be a high-scoring affair. Both teams love to push the tempo, and while the Pacers have struggled recently, they're still a team that can put up points. The Timberwolves, even on the second night of the back-to-back, have enough firepower to keep pace, especially with Edwards leading the way. I've been going back and forth on this one, and while I think the Timberwolves have the edge, especially given their form and depth, the Pacers have a slight rest advantage. Minnesota might be a bit tired, and if the Pacers can play their tempo and get out in transition, they could surprise. That said, with both teams being so good offensively, I'm more confident in hitting the total points over for this game. The Pacers play at one of the fastest paces in the league, and even though they've had defensive issues, they're still able to score. Minnesota, on the other hand, is hitting on all cylinders offensively, and I just don't see a scenario where both teams don't go back and forth putting up points. So, while I lean toward Minnesota to win, I'm locking in the over as the best play here. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Denver Nuggets and Golden State Warriors. This one's going to be a fun one. We've got the Warriors taking on the Nuggets, and honestly, this game has the makings of a real showdown. The Nuggets have had the upper hand historically, leading the head-to-head series 108-85, and they've dominated the Warriors recently, winning their last 5 trips to Oracle Arena. But let's be real, Golden State is a completely different beast now. They've been absolutely on fire, riding a 7-game win streak and winning 12 out of their last 13 games. This team is clicking, especially since Jimmy Butler joined the squad. His addition has really given them a secondary scoring option, which has allowed Steph Curry to focus more on playmaking and less on carrying the entire offensive load by himself. And with Curry still balling out, 15 is a real threat. Speaking of Curry, he's been as deadly as ever, putting up 24.3 points per game and shooting over 44% from the floor, including nearly 40% from 3. That's not even the best part. The Warriors have really stepped up their defense lately. They're ranked second in defensive rating over the last 15 games, and with their offense still being 5th in the league, they've become a dangerous all-around team. The chemistry is flowing, and they've got that championship DNA, especially with the addition of Butler, who brings a much-needed energy boost to a team that already had plenty of firepower. This is no longer the same team we saw earlier in the season. Now, the Nuggets aren't exactly slouches either. They're sitting pretty in second place in the West, and that's largely thanks to Nikola Jokic. The man is a walking triple-double and has been putting up MVP-caliber performances every night. He recently went off for 40 points in a loss to the Wizards, and even with an elbow issue, he's still dominated. Alongside him, Jamal Murray is playing great basketball, averaging 21.5 points and 6.1 assists per game, and Michael Porter Jr. has been solid, too. But lately, the Nuggets have shown some cracks in their armor. They've been inconsistent, and after that heartbreaking loss to the Wizards, it's clear they've got some kinks to work out. Their defense has been a major issue. They're near the bottom in defensive efficiency, and they've allowed some high-scoring games from teams that shouldn't have put up big numbers. Denver's offense is still one of the best in the league, no doubt. They're second in offensive efficiency, and their shooting is on point, especially from deep, where they rank fourth. But the Warriors have been locking pins down defensively, and I don't think Denver's going to get away with sloppy turnovers and weak defense against a team like Golden State. With the Warriors' offense and defense firing on all cylinders, I think they've got the upper hand in this matchup. That said, I'm not counting out the Nuggets completely. You've got Jokic, Murray, and enough talent to keep this one competitive. If they can tighten up defensively and avoid turning the ball over too much, they've definitely got a shot. But given Golden State's current form, I'm leaning towards them to take this one, especially at home. The Warriors are just rolling right now, and with the added motivation of Butler's presence, they're a tough team to beat. The Nuggets will make it close, but I think Golden State has what it takes to get the W. That said, I wouldn't be shocked if Denver keeps it tight and covers the spread, but I've got the Warriors taking this one in a battle that's sure to be a great one. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Memphis Grizzlies and Sacramento Kings. Alright, so we've got the Memphis Grizzlies heading into Sacramento to take on the Kings in what looks like a clash between two teams going in very different directions right now. Memphis is rolling with a 43-25 record and sitting comfortably near the top of the Western Conference. They've been absolutely cooking lately, winning 5 of their last 6 games, including a dominant 125-91 win over the Miami Heat. This team is cooking, especially with Ja Morant back in full form. Morant's been putting up solid numbers with 22.3 points and 7.4 assists per game, but let's not forget Jaren Jackson Jr., who's been the engine driving this squad. He's been on fire, leading the team in scoring with 22.7 points per game and still locking down on defense. The Grizzlies rank high on both sides of the ball, 6th in offense and 9th in defense, and they've got all the tools to come out on top here. Now, Sacramento's sitting at 33-33, currently in 9th place in the West, and honestly, it's been a rough stretch for them. They've dropped 4 straight, and their defense has been their biggest issue. They're sitting in the bottom half of the lead in terms of points allowed, ranking 19th, which has really hurt them recently. The Kings had made some significant changes this season, from firing head coach Mike Brown and giving Doug Christie the helm to trading away De'Aaron Fox for Zach LaVine. While LaVine has contributed with 22.7 points per game since joining, it's been tough for Sacramento to get that consistent rhythm they need. Their offense, ranked 7th in the league, still puts up numbers that they struggle to find any consistency, especially when facing teams that can score efficiently. Looking at recent matchups, the Grizzlies have been able to handle business, even if they haven't always covered the spread as easily as they should, only covering in 2 of their last 10 games. Still, Memphis is a team that knows how to win, especially when it matters. The Kings, on the other hand, have failed to cover in their last 3, and their defense is a glaring issue. Sure, the Kings had the potential to put up big numbers, but Memphis is built differently. Their defense can actually slow down high-scoring teams, and they have the firepower to keep up in a shootout. If Ja Morant is playing, I'm all in on the Grizzlies here. He adds so much to their dynamic, and with Jaren Jackson Jr. playing like he is, Memphis just feels like the stronger, more complete team. When it comes to the game itself, I expect a high-scoring affair. The Kings have been a bit down lately, but they've still been able to score big when they're in rhythm, putting up 122 or more in 3 of their last 10 games. Memphis, on the other hand, has averaged 120 points over their last 6 games, and they've gone over 120 in 7 of their last 9, so I'm expecting fireworks on the scoreboard. Both of these teams can light it up, and with Memphis' solid defense, they're likely going to make it tough on Sacramento, especially with the Kings' struggles against teams with winning records. To sum it all up, I'm leaning heavily towards Memphis for this one. If Morant plays, that's a game changer for them. The Grizzlies just had the better overall squad, with a solid offense and a defense that can lock things down when it matters. Sacramento's offense is no slouch, but their defense just can't keep up with Memphis right now. My gut tells me Memphis takes this one, and with both teams having a history of hitting the over, I'm riding with the total points going over. If Morant suits up, Memphis should cover and win this one in a high-scoring affair.